about this journey for you.
Well, it's been quite a journey. I mean, it starts all the way back in my childhood. I was blessed in growing up in a family that really valued ethics, a very tight-knit family that was Jewish, and most of my extended family is very Orthodox, and I was raised in Jewish ethical training. And my father, who was an attorney, was a very ethical man, which was very frustrating to me in the 1960s when in the 60s we were busy rebelling against the establishment and thinking anybody over 30 was untrustworthy, and here was my father, a pillar of ethical business practices. So it started there and progressed over time to about a decade ago, so in about 2001. 2001, my first marriage was crumbling. And it wasn't crumbling because I had an affair. It wasn't crumbling because my first wife had an affair. It was crumbling for reasons that I didn't understand until after the marriage had ended. And those reasons had to do with a kind of integrity deficit that I had never associated with integrity, because for me, integrity had to do with social responsibility, doing the right thing, being active and a responsible citizen in my community. It had to do with meaning what I said, doing what I meant, so relationship integrity. But it didn't have to do with self-integrity. I had become a profoundly self-neglectful person because of how passionate I am about making a positive difference in the world and being present in my relationships. And the ironic part was that the more self-neglectful I became, the more my heart closed down. And the more my heart closed down, the more incapable of being in the kind of loving relationship, any kind of loving relationship, I became. And it was only after being bludgeoned into surrender, as I put it, in the aftermath of the demise of my first marriage, that I started to realize I was missing 1/3 of the formula of three-dimensional integrity. And it's the same formula as three-dimensional happiness. People, as a psychologist, I can tell you that people who are sustainably happy have reported to me that they're happy because they feel like their true self. They're authentic. They feel bonded with others, and they feel like they have a positive impact in their spheres of influence. And those three things, authenticity, connection, and impact, happen to translate into the three dimensions of integrity. Authenticity is self-integrity, connection is relationship integrity, and impact is societal or collective integrity. Three-dimensional integrity is the formula for true durable integrity, but the thing that's really important is that it's the same formula for sustainable happiness. Happiness and integrity got a divorce in the 1950s, and CEO Space is one of those organizations that's helping to repair that divorce so that they're no longer divorced from each other, where integrity and happiness are joined together at the hip again, the way that they were always meant to be.
For people who have a business and who are looking to incorporate that, because like you say, it seems so, it's not tangible to them, so how to put it into practice. Give me some really quick how to get started, start implementing this into our own lives.
Well, above and beyond doing an integrity audit, there are some specific things that I can capture in an interview of this length that would be things that people can do immediately. And that has to do with accountability, because accountability is integrity and transparency in action. And accountability has three elements to it. It has to do with, first of all, specific ways of constructing agreements. Secondly, clarity about the plan that's involved in making those agreements come to fruition. And the third is impact, clarity about the impact I will have if I complete my commitment, and if I don't complete that commitment, impact I will have on myself, on the people who are immediately impacted or affected by my commitment and whether or not I follow through on it, and then the larger system that is affected by our agreement, so a business or a community or a church or whatever the larger collective is. So accountability mechanisms are things that people can start to put into action, whether in personal relationships or in business relationships or in government, any setting at all. And it just involves being clear about what kinds of agreements make it possible for accountability to occur and how to create plans that make those agreements come true, and clarity about the impact. Because we live in a society that suffers from what I call entitlement disorder, massive lack of self-responsibility. And I think that a large part of entitlement disorder is people not having received impact training. They don't know how to evaluate the impact of their choices to follow through or not follow through on commitments.
And that's why you're here. That's what your purpose is. So thank you so much. And I got to ask you a fun question. Do you do anything else? Do you dance? Do you sing? Do you...
With these legs?
Yeah.
My wife and I love dancing, and I do. I love dancing.
Good.
I am a trained musician, so I adore singing.
Yeah.
And fun is the other side of things. For me, it's all about high professionalism, high quality, high delivery of services, and equal amounts of play and joy and fun, and hopefully simultaneously.
Right on. Thank you so much, Doc, and keep those legs in good shape.
Count on it.